Hey there, and welcome to this little video exploring monthly Shonen Captain. I thought it would make sense to explain what this video is going in, just in case people are confused or get disappointed in what it actually is. There won't be many answers in this video. This isn't me explaining the magazine's history or even what the series are within this magazine. Frankly, I do not know. And that's partially the point of this video. It's exploratory. It's my raw thoughts and feelings looking into this magazine for the first time. From my knowledge, nobody I know has ever brought up Monthly Shonen Captain to me personally, and the series within it that are well known or even known in general are quite limited. I do mention some here and there throughout the video, but my knowledge is very incomplete, so feel free to correct me or give supplementary info in the comments or do your own research on this topic. For a brief background, Monthly Shonen Captain began in 1985 and ceased publication in 1997, being published by Tokuma Shoten, who still juggle a few magazines to this day related to various pop culture subjects, anime, manga, etc. This is a manga magazine, presumably aimed at the shonen young male demographic based on its name, though from my understanding it did shift over time and was pretty loose with what it actually serialized. If you're familiar with Jump, I'd say this was aimed at older teens at the very least, or an older audience to what Jump usually targets. From the little I do know, over time I think it also pivoted to doing a lot of manga adaptations of OVA series, as well as some other cool things. This is a magazine I do want to touch on again in the future, and I will on a future video on Trigun. This video may also act as a gateway for a more fully researched video on the magazine overall, but for now, enjoy this more chill exploration into an older issue of this magazine. Right now, what you are seeing is the cover for Monthly Shonen Captain 1986, its May issue. Why I'm doing this is because for research for another video, for a manga that's in Monthly Shonen Captain, I just wanted to look into the magazine a bit. It's one that isn't as well documented as the ones you'll usually be aware of, like Shonen Jump, of course, but even the other ones, Shonen Magazine, Shonen Sunday, Shonen Champion, all the other monthly magazines like Gangan. This is an older magazine that just has disappeared from time, which makes sense because it ended up getting cancelled as a whole. The magazine is no longer a publishing thing. I might intersperse an intro with some extra facts, and in that case, me saying this might be deleted, but I just wanted to run through this issue because it's actually on the Internet Archive, and I think it would be interesting to flick through and give my thoughts on what I see, basically. This is also an attempt for me to just get a gist of what this magazine was like at the time. I think reading these magazines is quite interesting in a holistic way, like seeing the whole thing. You don't really get access to that much, although I do have a few copies of Weekly Shonen Jump, which I flick through now and again. It would be cool to see what else the other magazines have to offer. Of course, though, I'm not really gonna know what the series in this magazine are. I will do my best to speculate, maybe. I don't know Japanese, so this is gonna be pretty fun. But yeah, this is just gonna be a look at something. It's a more archaeological dig into a, I guess, civilization, which I'm unfamiliar of. If this is interesting, I encourage you to read it yourself, translate parts, or do whatever you want. Feel free to comment as well if you notice something interesting that I have skipped. Let's just dive into this, I think. Starting with the cover, which is really nice. The colors really pop. Got a variety of greens, pinks, purples, yellows. Some kid with a gun and a scarf. Some names on the side. There's some English words. There's Lady, as well as Marumo 10 or 70 or something. EBC. We've got a couple other little characters there too. I wonder what this is. Obviously have no idea. And then flicking in, we kind of have the main reason why I think this specific issue of Monthly Shonen Captain has been kind of saved, and it's the Legend of Zelda stuff. On the right, we do have a color page with a gun pen, and that's pretty interesting. Just back in the 80s, I guess you had little knickknacks like this. It's pretty common, from my understanding, for a lot of adverts to get color pages in magazines. But then on the left, we have an ad for The Legend of Zelda, or possibly even a guide, I think, by the looks of it, and a very feminine looking Link, to the point where I think it might be a lady. I mean, yeah, I mean, look at, yeah, that's a lady, I guess, breasts. But Link having pink hair and looking this feminine, I think this was a trend at some point, that people jumped onto, drawing Link this way, which is quite interesting. I don't know too much about The Legend of Zelda. It's always been a kind of thing that Link's quite androgynous, but I've never seen Link be depicted as a full-on girl, so I wonder if this is official in any capacity. There's also a really nice looking butterfly moth lady in the bottom right too. It looks like this is just a full-on guide. We have weights as well. This might give you a sense of potentially the demographic of the magazine. So far it's been pretty kid friendly, but I would say just the weights being there like pushes the age bracket up, which from what I've read into Monthly Shonen Captain, it's a pretty loose magazine overall when it comes to who it was trying to appeal to. So we have even more Zelda stuff. We're kind of losing the color gradually here. So we've gone through the color pages, and now we have this kind of bichrome look, I think is the correct terminology, with the orange, which is used for having slightly nicer than usual pages, but still quite cheap. It looks like we have some other games as well on the left for B-Wings and some other things. A variety of, I guess, Super Nintendo games. Some Japanese text, which I obviously can't read, but we've transitioned to blue ink. Or maybe this is even a little post-it note thing, a little postcard maybe, actually, where you fill in what manga you like, because it's got a like telephone box number, and it reminds me of the Jump, Weekly Shonen Jump kind of survey cards. Then we have an action comic with some designs that look very kind of early Gundam, actually. The character there on the right reminds me of the protagonist of Ideon. Yeah, so they look like Cosmo from Ideon to me, and the art overall, like maybe there's a bit of Yoshikazu Yasuhiko in there. I'm not entirely sure. It could just be kind of the style of the time, or for mecha gradually pulling from. I'm not 100% what this is. Maybe we'll get a bit more. Okay, yeah, we've got a little bus. That looks really nice actually as a color page. The overall painting of the truck, lots of colors, but also just a nice array of browns, yellows that really sell the little setting they're in. We got some nice alien-like language as well on the right, on those signs. I'm gonna kick myself if it's an actual language though. It could be, maybe. I'm not too familiar with language and letters and alphabets of the world. That's an odd color page then on the right, an advert for something. I'm really not sure what that is. Looks like a little robot. And then I think we've got a bit of a text scroll describing this sci-fi one-shot or manga. Got that car there, or that van, all these soldiers kind of piling up. Got some horses, very deserty setting. Maybe this isn't sci-fi at all. Just kind of about soldiers in the Middle East or something. Wow, that really like that rightmost top panel there with the horse. There's a lot of nice movement there, and with the horse kind of coming out of panel. Very cool. Nice landscapes. And we got this purple kind of ink being used too, instead of the actual paper changing color, which is interesting. That's something you'll see with Jump a lot, and I think that's to do with the recycled paper. This is I guess just colored ink on probably recycled paper, maybe, or just very cheap paper. But it just looks really nice. This scene actually, this reminds me of Gundam Unicorn.
I suppose it is. Even though we live our lives trying to escape sadness, I wonder why that is.
A lot, actually. That looks like the scene where Banaja and the Zeon Remnant Captain talk in the desert. You'll know if you'll know. Huh. Now I'm really wondering what this is. The expressions are really nice too, especially the one on the bottom right there. Yeah, this really reminds me of Gundam Unicorn, but more of a war kind of focus thing. Wow, this looks really nice. There's a lot of pages to go through, so I'm going to be going through some of it quite quickly, but wow. Yeah, it looks like the main character's been injured and is being attended to. Do you know what? The Cosmo looking character might be a girl. Interesting. In my head now it's like Cosmo and Banaja together. Yeah. Just look at the illustration. It's so good. It's going to be a lot of me saying that. And we have some gag stuff too. That actually looks quite nice with all the text in the background blowing up. That's a nice way to convey an argument or someone kind of going off the rails. And that girl looks a bit like Lala. I definitely feel the influence of Yoshikazu Yasuhiko. I think. Those trucks are really well drawn. Man, I wonder if this was a reoccurring thing or not. Interesting. We got some little, very cute, extremely different style with these little octopus sausages. An egg. Ah, it looks like more like a gag manga maybe. Very clean, simple panel layouts, but extremely appealing. The little robots and creatures as well. Ooh, almost horror-y. It's like someone is just a bundle of their nervous system. Some quite appealing character designs too. I really like the lady with the hair across her eyes. We've got little rats. Got little rats making onigiri. And Oni lady now? Maybe? The designs here are really, really nice. Okay, got a little crab. It's like almost like a little kids manga, but some of the designs are a little creepy. I do like that a lot though. And then we move on to black and white ink. Maybe they chose the purple ink specifically for the first manga there, where it looked like it had been more ink washed, like with pens or something. This one looks to be maybe a delinquent manga. We have bikes. We got a bit of ecchi, classic ecchi comedy there, with the head going into someone's skirt. Lots more black and speed lines here. Really like the left there with that face in the speed lines. That looks really cool. And bam, silly gag face. Crotch has been hit by a motorcycle wheel. Oof. Just a lot of cool bike action there. And then a robot principal and the main character coming into the school auditorium with bike tire prints on his face. That actually looks quite well drawn. This seems pretty fun too. He's getting run over a lot though, like geez. It looks like a kid's driving. It's a girl on her bike. Panty shot. A bunch of ladies in lingerie? What is going on? Just an insane battle shown. Oh, he's being stripped and is wearing a chastity belt? What is this? And there's a frog? I wonder if there's a lot of one-shots in this or not, because this is early on in the magazine's publication. I think it's the 18th issue overall, which is pretty early. I think it had about 140 something issues total, if my memory serves correct. This one feels a little bit more stripped back. Still pretty zany though, kind of zany school comedy manga. A lot of people falling out of the school window or jumping out of the school window. Art style is a little all over the place though, especially on the proportions. Do kind of wonder what's going on. They seem like friends though. Okay, keeps going. That guy's head is really small. School infirmary maybe? And now they're fighting. Maybe it's another delinquent manga as well. I feel like 1986, that tracks as being maybe like early-ish on in the delinquent, when delinquent manga was quite big. I could be off base there, but I feel like that was in its early prime. We got Grex or G-Rex. That rings a bell. I think that top little character with the eye. I think that might be one of the more famous manga from the magazine. Could be wrong. And then on the left we have Motomo 1/10. What are we doing? Ranma 1/2? Looks like maybe the author on the right there, Crocodile Sensei, like Gotoge, but years and years before. People going to a coffee shop, people drinking stuff at a coffee shop or just diner. Looks to be more of your regular rom-com. Pretty nice art style. I like the girl's kind of wispy hair. It's quite cool. Main character also looks kind of unique. I can't think of many characters who have such a round haircut like that. I feel like it's probably quite realistic for a character to have hair like that. I imagine lots of Japanese boys just had hair like that and not the crazy spiky hairs you'd see in most other manga. Oh, we got some more action though. The Shonen Captain doesn't play around with the explosions in every single manga. And then they've shrunk. Okay. Maybe that's a big thing about this. That's this series' gimmick is shrinking. And a ton of lingerie. Lingerie seems to also be a prominent feature of the magazine. Again, I mean, ecchi manga was pretty everywhere in shonen mags at this time. There is some class though with so much lingerie being around, and also just the general outfits on the bottom that look pretty cool. And we go swimming or bowling. I don't know why I thought that was swimming pools for a sec. It's clearly bowling. Just people going on dates, going bowling. She is really strong. Maybe she's a superhuman or something. There's bikers. And what do we have on the left? We have like really cool looking, I'd say, I guess, traditionally manly biker lady. Looks like female Kenshiro, which is sick as heck. Is this an actual manga in the magazine? So we've got another school one by the looks of it. The art style here makes the characters look a lot more mature though, which I like quite a bit. Really like how the eyes and faces are drawn. Everyone has nice big eyebrows and pretty eyelashes. Even the male characters look really, really attractive. Yeah, the expressions here are really, really nice, especially on the left. Really wonder who this artist is. The hairstyles of the girls too, pretty cool. And there's more fighting in this one too. They're doing like flips and stuff. Heck yeah, that's kind of classic martial arts looking stuff. And we have bikes again. That seems to be a pretty big pattern. Bikes were probably popular. I mean, they're still quite popular, but Bosozoku would have been a big thing. But in general, like even Jump had some bike manga. If I can think of them, I want to say was Okami? No, Suket no Okami was a racing manga, but there were definitely some bike focused manga. I don't know if they did too well, but I'm sure there was a number of popular bike focused ones. And now we just have aliens or something, water creatures. What the? Every single manga in this magazine is like, oh yeah, this is kind of standard, and then it's like, okay, what the fuck are we doing? What is this? This is insane. It's changed so drastically so quickly. It looks really cool too. They've like superpowers, blood sword maybe or something. They're fighting bikes like crazy aliens. School setting. Swords. Oh my god, now we have like power armor? Bro, this is crazy. That looks so cool too. Kind of amazed at how crazy this turned out being. I would for sure read this weekly. This looks great. And then we have fairies as well. Man, what the heck? Okay, and the next manga we got whole different art style. We have a black character, 1986. That's pretty cool. Very cool art style as well. Maybe another delinquent manga. Could be boxing because they're punching a lot, or maybe they're just fighting like normal kids. He's getting a shoe in the face. But he gets up, he's got his leather gloves on. Some really nice expressions. The way the kind of effect lines there are making an aura around him look really cool too. And I like these punches. Just like boom, very big impacts. The dodges are nice. The flow of the pages overall is nice. I feel like the sound effects are really good at drawing your focus. Yeah, a lot of stuff in school, a lot of delinquents overall. This feels pretty standard for the time, I think. This is mostly fighting, but it looks really good. And then boom, we have a bit of a spread here. Really nice impact there. Even like the way the shading on the hair, like the movement of them, all the lines on the faces, they convey such like force as both of them are being punched. That's great. And that's the end of that chapter. They just KO'd each other. Then we have a gag manga. Possibly just a group of various 4-comas with this little scientist person. Then we have some more 4-comas. I don't know, various stuff. Sumo, wrestling, old men. radio. And we have a Maid manga with an entirely different art style again, very big eyes. And we've moved on to pink paper, so maybe we do have some recycled paper going on here. Sukeban, maybe? A Sukeban comedy manga? Really like the, I think it's a hime cut of the girl in the bottom right there. Characters are looking pretty nice here. And we got some butlers, so maybe there's a rich girl in here. The eyes remind me of Suide no Tonchinkan from Jump. On the left, I mean, not the general eyes. I do really like this art style, though. It's very cute. Like, look at her faces and her eyes. Very big. Having a conversation at a cafe, and she's flipped the table. Ooh, that's a nice illustration at the top there. I wonder what this one is. This feels like the most tame so far, but anything could happen, really. Yeah, see? What the fuck is with this magazine? I swear. What is going on? Every single time I think it's a normal fucking manga, like a monster shows up. This is so funny. Interesting design there for that. And we have a robot. I think I did see kind of a robot being teased earlier. But I thought maybe it was a joke. But no, I guess this might be a comedy Sentai romance series. Maybe along the lines of like Wingman. And we've got girls fighting, which is pretty sick. And the butlers and the monsters running away. Or the monster kidnapped like the guy. Or... that's a nice panel there. And he's puking out sweets and stuff. Or is the guy the monster? Am I crazy? Oh, that's kind of cute. That was nice. Look at this guy on the left. Aura. And we got blue pages. Someone falling to their death, someone... Maybe they've been pushed or something. Suicide at school. Okay. Oh, someone just being shot with a fucking arrow. Boom. Do you like this art style too? It's, again, quite different. Maybe weird, but it slightly reminds me that maybe the main character looks a bit like Cool Shock BT. I'm gonna make a lot of Jump references. Jesus Christ, that rock just killed that person. Okay, we're just moving on. Will this one also get crazy? It's already pretty crazy by the looks of it. Yeah, everyone's getting battered with various things, rocks, training swords. This kid's just getting beat up over and over again. People fighting. But another double page spread there, which isn't so clean. They split in two, but I get what they're going for. Okay. Almost like a ninja with how he's moving around. I wonder what this one's really about. Maybe he's just protecting the school. Then we have the lady manga. Wonder what this one's about. Probably fighting with ladies. And that's exactly what we have, I think. Just flipping each other over, judo style. Maybe more of a stripped down art style compared to the last few, but still quite appealing. That actually, the page on the left there where she's punching up looks great. Some cool expressions as well, which feel, I don't know, maybe appropriately dated, but maybe from even before. They kind of feel a little older. I do like it though. I like how it looks generally. Ooh, the screen tone usage there is nice as well on the left. We've got guns. Maybe she's a detective or some kind of cop figure. Looks like that were pretty popular for a time. explosion again, and some kind of organization with guns. It seems to be a commonality with a lot of manga in the magazine. One thing we haven't seen is that many ads aside from the beginning, which is interesting, I think. Jump tends to have a lot. Maybe that's more of a Jump thing, I don't know. Maybe the ads are being taken out. But yeah, usually I feel like you'd get more in between the chapters of manga. This one, I wonder what's going on here too. Organizations and different people fighting. There's no monsters so far though, so might just be humans for once. Like a spy lady or something. I guess we have these pages here. Although this feels like it's advertising other manga, I wonder kind of what they are, where they're from. H2O Image. Kind of got a robot manga there, something a little more cutesy. This one on the left feels kind of rom-com-y, makes me think of like Kumagure Orange Road. We have an idol, some people, like fans of idols. Hotel, definitely more rom-com-y. Got two different girls. Very nice, sleek designs. Her clothes on the left look really nice, actually. Ooh, I really like how the city's drawn there too. It's so simple, but just effective, evocative, just, I don't know, very pleasant to look at. It conveys the busyness and the shininess of the lights. Looks like our main protagonist here is a complete horn dog, just thinking about like Love Hotel or panties or whatever. And then bam, we get more lingerie. So we definitely can learn a few things about Shonen Captain from this issue. Is at least for a period of time, it was super into randomly transitioning into a crazy narrative with monsters, having a lot of bikes, a lot of delinquents fighting, and a lot of lingerie, which I definitely approve of. This is sick. It's also drawn really nicely too. You've got little roses around her, maybe kind of trying to mimic shoujo manga or something. I think that's pretty cool. Drinking champagne. Found a classy lady. But she might have ulterior motives. Or she's confronting him, saying he's cheating on his girlfriend maybe or something. Which is probably a pretty common thing in a lot of these manga. Boys can never decide like which girl to just not have a normal relationship with. Very nice, just character arts. I really like it. I've said that about almost every single manga, but I just like how things were drawn back then, like a ton. And then we have something ABC, so probably another school manga, teaching manga. Maybe kind of a rom-com situation. Ecchi rom-com situation, I might add. Although nothing crazy. Yeah, so it looks like a teacher, maybe teacher-student romance manga. She's being seductive in his dreams. Probably has like a... Maybe that's a... I don't know if that's the same character or if it's like a kind of girl he likes as well. The teachers and the students kind of look the same age, so it's hard to tell without reading the text. The art style's pretty cute though. It does look like he's being tutored by her. Okay. I mean, probably wouldn't fly today, but I do think it's kind of interesting. Got something on the left, like maybe fan art and stuff. I do notice, I think that is the Gaiva, maybe in the middle there. So Gaiva is actually a manga that came from Monthly Shonen Captain, and I think it was around for the majority of its run. Maybe it's not in this issue for whatever reason. Maybe it was on break or something. And then Grey is another manga that I think was popular from this, but that didn't last too long. It might have been intended to be short. I think it was done by a famous mangaka, but I could be wrong. We got the Captain space. Yeah, I wonder what this is. Probably stuff for fan art, maybe authors comments. There's a lot of little things here and there. Ooh, look at that illustration on the right. That looks really nice with the girl with the bike. I really like how that looks. And we got some little comics here too about bikes. So yeah, bikes very they were very kind of clued into those motorrads. Seemed to be interesting to the demographic of Monthly Shonen Captain. Maybe more worldwide. Oh, Day of the Dead. Okay, so we're getting into movies here. Probably some Japanese movies too, which I'm not familiar of. Spies Like Us, Iron Eagle. We even have little doodles done by presumably some mangaka or staff related to Shonen Captain to do some of those. I like this. They got their own little movie section. That's pretty cool. Game and Game, maybe a game section, although it kind of looks like different manga. New Face, I wonder if that's about submitting to the magazine maybe. We got some strips here about various things, maybe creating little... Oh no, it's about screen toning, applying screen tone. So like how to make manga maybe, how to illustrate properly. Pretty cute. And then next issue stuff, I think. And next issue, it's like Gaiva is coming back, I assume, based on this. So yeah, at least we get to mention Gaiva, because that's one of the bigger things from the magazine. It's not something I know much about, but I did grow up watching some Gaiva on VHS. I'm not actually that old, but I'm old enough to have been around VHS, or maybe poor enough to have been around more VHS as a kid than... DVDs and stuff. But Gaiva was one of the first anime I would have watched, thanks to my dad being a fan. Not sure how he found it. It must have been one of the only kind of anime manga things that he was exposed to when he was younger or had around. I know there's a small like scene for anime and manga in the UK. I don't think it was nearly as big as in some other countries like America. So now and again you see stuff like this slip through. But yeah, I should probably read or watch Gaiva, considering it's one of my first exposures to Japanese media, really. We also have Grey back. I called it G-Rex earlier. Yeah, so Grey is another big one. I guess Lady, Morimo 10, that little gag manga with all the cute little characters, I think, is in next issue too. They're telling you what's there. There isn't actually that many... manga serialized at one time because it's monthly. They have more pages, 10, 11, 12 manga maybe at one time, compared to what, like Jump's 1920, the average kind of shonen magazine. Yeah, interesting. And that seems to be it. We have an ad on the back for little motor cars. Could probably like make your own cars, off-road racing, radio controlled model cars, and then maybe like an advert for a drawing magazine or subscription thing you can mail in to get, which is quite interesting. But yeah, this has been a look into Monthly Shonen Captain. Let's go to the beginning again. Really interesting stuff overall. You kind of get a glimpse into what was popular at the time, what this specific magazine was doing, and this is also a glimpse into what something that probably wasn't as popular at the time, what was kind of going on there. I guess full disclosure why I'm reading this is Trigun debuted in this magazine at the very end of its run, and I wanted to get a bit of a handle on Captain for that. From my memory, I think the magazine also dabbled in a few other manga that would get anime adaptations. There was kind of it was pretty good, I think, at eventually getting kind of tie-ins with its manga to make anime, and there might have been some like licensed manga in the magazine at the very end for games or anime that would end up here, but eventually it would end up getting discontinued. From memory, I think I've covered the bigger series that have been in Shonen Captain, or at least I've mentioned them, I brought them up. Actually making a whole video on Captain could be interesting, although the information that's out there is severely limited. Even me searching for it in Japanese and trying to translate it, I had trouble trying to find anything. I'm sure if I knew Japanese it would be a bit easier, but finding info on the mag specifically seems to be a much harder task than, say, finding anything for Jump, which makes a lot of sense considering how big Jump is. But yeah, this has been a look into Monthly Shonen Captain. Please, in the comments, let me know your thoughts of the manga that was in here, of Shonen Captain. If you know anything about Shonen Captain, please feel free to just leave a message in the comments about what you know. I'd be interested in hearing you out. And if you just enjoyed me talking pretty casually about the magazine and me exploring it, I'm glad. I hope this was nice background sound, or you kind of learned something, also some art you liked. If this is the first thing you've watched from me for whatever reason, I would point you to the rest of the channel, where I usually talk about Weekly Shonen Jump, which I mentioned a lot throughout this video. I mostly cover its history through my History of Shonen Jump series, where I run through the magazine and like every single manga that debuted in the magazine, which you might like if you enjoyed this. But I also talk about some of the more modern and some older cancelled manga, and I delve into them with a bit more of an analytical lens, and that's what I'm going to be doing for Trigun. So in the future, keep an eye out for that video if you're interested in, I guess, Monthly Shonen Captain as well as Trigun, the manga of it anyway. I also have a Patreon if you really like what I make. I can't promise there will be anything more like this, but I am open to doing something like this again in the future if I just stumble across an internet archive of an old manga magazine, or if someone sends me one, or if I just buy magazines myself and end up filming them. In one of the recent history videos, I actually did that with the One Piece debut magazine replica I have. I didn't flip through all of it, but I flipped through quite a bit of it just to have a look. A bit more, it's a lot more difficult though in person to film and run through that. It was quite tiring actually. But yeah, I have a Patreon. I kind of skipped over that. If you'd like to help me and support me make more videos on manga and possibly look into more obscure stuff, you can sign up for as little as $1. You will get bonus videos. I kind of thought this could be a bonus video, but I've kind of changed my mind. I thought maybe I'll just upload this as is. It might be interesting for others to see, but there's a few bonus videos on the Patreon as well. I do polls as well to decide what Axe manga we cover. I let others pick in a lot of cases what little manga, cancelled manga I actually cover. And I sometimes put some behind the scenes stuff there. The only difference between the Patreon tiers as well is the $3 tier and higher, you'll get a little doodle from me to represent you in the credits of videos like all of these cool people. Thank you. Trinity, Jade, Kazuka Gairu, Suracool Zero, Holly the Apothecary, Mayu, It's Faco, Yellowtail, Lay Sloggett, Chris P. Bacon, Cho Henshin, Full Metal, Unquestionable, Yuzakura Psycho, Wurzel, Violent, Cactus, Joni, City Name E, Vina Burrito, Caffeine Dad, Cryonaut, Crash, 41IZ, Hong, Jamie Reynolds, Manu, Poke Emblem, James Miller, Joba Monkey, Just a Virus, Star Sphinx, PK Broly, Fenrir Black, Elijah Espinoza, Neo Humanoid, Mark Nielsen, Electro Pirate, Jay Vasso, Three Frogs in a Trench Coat, Sir Flash, Gay Shark, Slimy Okra, Gidista, TG Talks Manga, Wavy Sky, John Jerry 722, Andrew, Zenomat, Missile, Tara Elizabeth, Stratomega 13, Dennis Tambek, Jubei, Lise, Frog Dude, Hilltop, Vaco Draws, Otaku Gamer X, Deadpan, Shy Monkeys, Jonathan Dragonet, John Sanford, Color, Jaime, Strawberry Prosione, Vaz, Palette, Ruiner, Juice, Kurumi Nox, Eric Gorski, Miss Thishira, Gross Exploder, Dextora, Enya Showo, Cheese, Emmy, Benjamin, Tenmaku Lover, Taifumi Studios, and Ignate. Thank you all so much for being patrons. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to be kind and take care.